And now to present the Walter Bernstein Award to Stephen Colbert. Please welcome veteran SNL and Cohen writer, Triumph the Insult Comic Dog's handler, and the man who gave Stephen his first job on national television, Robert Smigel.
How about this? Can you feel the gravitas in this room right now? No, this is a huge honor, honestly. I mean, I've been in comedy for like 40 years now, and I've had a very nice career, and I've told Stephen this, that probably my greatest contribution to comedy is whatever role I played in helping the world discover Stephen Colbert. It's true. It's true. That guy. And honestly, not to be immodest, but that's saying a lot because I did give the world puppets having sex with live animals.
It's okay. Hey, what's the problem?
So, that's a very close second to Stephen Colbert. So let me tell you why I'm standing here at this moment of gravitas. In 1992, I was a co-producer at SNL, and every summer we'd go with Lorne Michaels to Chicago and scout new talent. So we went to see the Second City show, where we'd all heard there was this amazingly funny guy named Steve Carell. So we get to the show, and we're told that Steve Carell isn't there tonight. He's filming a commercial for Brown's Chicken. This is, swear to God. So we're like, should we come back another day? And Lorne Michaels is like, right. He's a busy man. So we stayed. We watched the show with an understudy, a very low-key, deadpan guy named Stephen Colbert. And he was all right. But then the cast did this improv set where Stephen came to life, unshackled by Steve Carell's scripted roles. And now his deadpan was accompanied by brilliant, ironic comments and wordplay crafted with intelligence and originality. And I knew in that moment that this man would make a great ambiguously gay superhero. But the truth is, Stephen became what I called my comedy crush. I wanted him. In a deeply comedic way. I wanted to work with him, but there were hiccups. I couldn't get him on SNL. I had to meet Cohen when we started that show, but it was awkward. Another hiccup. Finally, in 1996, I got the chance to put Stephen on the biggest hiccup of my career, the Taco Bell Dana Carvey show. That picture says it all. I think that picture says it all. We looked at hundreds of audition reels. For some reason, Stephen didn't have one, so he just sent us this.
I don't know how we're gonna feed her, or clothe, or give her what we had. Why am I an actor? What? My brothers are lawyers. This summer camp and their own car. The kids have their own car. I don't have a car.
Now that was his situation at the time. That was him speaking truth to power. It didn't exactly show off his versatility, but this time I persisted. I asked Dana if we could fly Stephen in with the other callbacks, and of course, he was hilarious, and the rest is 8 episodes and cancellation. Thank you. Thank you very much. But not before I got to actually write sketches with Stephen and see him come up with lines like, this is Skinheads from Maine. And see him come up with lines like, what you whittlin'? I hate stick for beating on the Spaniards. Or this one, lines like this. Gerald Ford, there it is. Gerald Ford dead today after being senselessly mauled by a circus lion in a convenience store. You got to Google that one. It's worth your time. I guess my point is, as a talk show host, we know he's supported by his amazing unnominated writers at The Late Show. Give him a hand. Yes. Yes. But I want to make the point that Stephen himself has always been a fantastic writer. He co-created the incredible Strangers with Candy. When I went back to SNL, Stephen helped me write a bunch of my cartoons, honestly. But right now, I want to yield my time for just a moment and show you a bit of what I think is the single funniest and best written roast that I have ever seen. It is of America's Sweetheart. It's from 2000, I believe. It's of America's Sweetheart, Chevy Chase.
Kind of at a loss here. I don't really know what to say. I know that these roasts usually involve a fair amount of good-natured ribbing. But when I was asked to do this, I was informed that this was actually going to be honoring Mr. Chase. And I am appalled at some of the things that I have heard said about this man. And I don't really mean out here, I mean backstage. Some really hideous, hurtful, hate-filled things you could never take back. And I will not be party to it. I'm sorry, I've got to draw a line, because who am I to attack Chevy Chase? I don't know Chevy Chase. I have never met Mr. Chase. I'm uncomfortable calling him Chevy. The only thing I think of when I look at this man is, there but for the grace of God go I. Why would I tempt the comedy gods to strike me down like this, to leave me pale and pear-shaped, a humorless husk of my former self, haunting the halls of Hollywood like some sort of walking, waking cautionary tale, shapeless and odorless and colorless, gray on beige, a comedy lamprey just sucking the joy out of everything I touch. I won't do it.
I mean, come on. All right, back to the gravitas. This award, of course, is for bravery, named after the great Walter Bernstein, who, under extreme pressure, courageously refused to name names. I mean, how many of us today can say that? Hold on, That's right. Honestly, to name names like that, how many of us can say that today, other than Pam Bondi? Refuse to name names. It's a thinker. So yes, the Guild is honoring Stephen's bravery, but his talent goes far beyond that. To be honest, I used to struggle with this concept of brave comedy, speaking truth to power. You know, I'm one of these Cohen guys, but honestly, I mean, when you're telling jokes, the real power belongs to your audience, and for a lot of comics who just feed their audience exactly what they want to hear, that doesn't always feel that brave to me. But as a comic and as a writer, Stephen has always stayed true to his own original, dry, ironic sensibility. You can draw a straight line from that amazing Chevy Chase roast right to the Colbert Report. Oops. Whereas, as in playing the role of Stephen Colbert, his tactic for mocking the Bush presidency was to praise it endlessly. He inverted political humor with 9 relentless years of passive-aggressive brilliance. And to me, that is brave comedy, and maybe the greatest satirical show in television history. And Stephen, I say maybe because I haven't seen enough episodes of Spitting Image, but I'm pretty sure. So the night Stephen did the White House Correspondents' Dinner in 2006, so that night, oh, you're supposed to show the other picture first. Sorry, wasn't there another picture? Okay, well, okay, it's fine. I was throwing a party that night for all the people who'd made my SNL cartoons. But right at 10 o'clock, I stopped the party and made everyone watch Stephen. He had run his set by me, and I just knew that he was going to kill harder than anyone ever had. I knew it. I had never been more sure of anything since the Dana Carvey show. Okay, please, back to Stephen, please, please. I was like, this is the perfect way to make fun of Bush. They can't be mad at you because you're complimenting him. And, well, Stephen, you killed at my party, but as we laughed, it was clear that he was bombing in the room. See, you see at these things, the president signals to the audience to laugh or not, and that was basically his face right there. He wasn't frowning, he just kind of looked confused, kind of a cross between, like, should I waterboard this guy? Cross between that and that My Pet Goat look from 2001. Sorry. Too soon. Too soon. Too soon. And as I watched Stephen bomb and bomb and bomb, it occurred to me, anyone else I'd ever seen do this gig would have read the room, would have done something to break the tension, a self-effacing improv quip, or an exaggerated wipe of the brow, anything to get the crowd on their side. But Stephen just kept going. And I know at some point he clearly read the room, and he just said to himself, fuck the room. And he just kept tearing into the president, 3 feet to his right, never breaking character. Stephen Colbert was not going to sell out Stephen Colbert. And that's the night Stephen went from being my comedy crush to my comedy hero. And we all know what's going on now. Things are so messed up that now there clearly are tangible consequences to speaking truth to power. But Stephen, you've always led with integrity. When so many comedians take the easy route of mocking religion, Stephen, you never shy from speaking up for your faith. And that means a lot to the many of us who are afraid to speak up for our faith. And you were also willing, I don't know if people remember this, Stephen was willing to address the allegations about your boss, Les Moonves, before anyone in the industry, any other late night show wanted to touch that story. And recently, of course, Stephen, you called out your new bosses for bowing to Trump like dogs to get their merger done. Stephen, I know you love your staff and your writers. I know how badly you feel for them. And I hope you also know that they wouldn't want you to be anything less than the decent and brave soul that you are. So, oh no. Okay, just in time. So it's my great honor to present you with the Mark Twain Prize for American, oh no, sorry, that's never gonna happen. That's actually going to Jason Kelsey this year. That's for the writers again. Okay, I love Jason Kelsey and that show. With the Walter Bernstein, I'm proud to present with the Walter Bernstein Award, the coveted Walty. Not too shabby at all. Please welcome to the stage, Stephen Colbert. Come on up, sunshine.
Robert, was this podium wet when you got here?
I spilled it just before you got here. Just before you got here, I spilled it.
Jesus. No, leave it. No, leave it. That's a prop. That's a prop.
Okay.
You've done enough. Thank you, Robert. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you to the Writers Guild. This is my first WGA Awards. I didn't know you said nice things about me. I would have come sooner. I love being a writer. I started my career as an actor, as an improviser, but writing, especially comedy, was the highest ambition I could imagine. And the fact that I'm standing in this room with all of you tonight means that I must have done something right. Thank you very much. And thank you. This is nice. This is really nice. I like the beak. I'm lucky enough to have a couple more of these. I always thought they'd be good to open a can of High C. Ask your parents. Thank you for the great honor of the Walter Bernstein Award. Bernstein, as you saw, was a brilliant writer, and as you know, was blacklisted. And I did a little research, and as I was doing a little research on Walter Bernstein for this award, I discovered, I don't know why I didn't know this, it dawned on me the blacklist was not a government policy. The blacklist wasn't a law or a regulation or an executive order. It was a voluntary, industry-wide agreement to deny work to left-leaning artists out of fear that certain members of the government might publicly attack the parent corporation of these artists or the union they belonged to. It was that threat, only the threat of trouble, that ended so many careers. And now, while to be associated with Mr. Bernstein in any way is a great honor, I want to be clear that I do not deserve the implied parallel here. This is not the 1950s. This is not the Red Scare, and as far as I can tell, no one in late night is fomenting a revolution. As we know, the revolution will not be televised. It was going to be televised, but then Paramount bought it, and evidently the revolution was losing like $40 million a year, and it had to go. I hear the revolution is thinking about starting a Substack. I'm also really happy. Robert, you still there? Oh, there you go. I'm so happy to receive this from my old boss, Robert Smigel. Thank you, friendo. Robert hired me for Dana Carvey, as he said, 30 years ago. 30 years right now we were working on it. You haven't changed a bit. And that's where he taught me how to write sketch TV. I had already written several seasons of sketch TV, but I was not good at it. I remember one sketch I wrote for the Carvey show. The game of the sketch had to do with all the tropes TV news uses to hide the identity of interviewees, like blurring their faces. The sketch explored that idea, and the final beat was a newscast hiding the identity of a 7-year-old girl, not with backlighting or scrambling her voice, but by replacing her with Isaac Hayes. We got Isaac Hayes to do it, and it didn't work. And I didn't know, I asked Robert why, and he pointed out that in the script it never said, to protect the little girl's identity, we replaced her with Isaac Hayes. And do you remember this? Do you remember what you said to me? I took you into the edit to look at it and say, what is wrong with it? And he turned to me in the edit and he said, why are you hiding your jokes? We work so hard to think of them. Please don't forget to tell the audience what the joke is. There are no points for cleverness in this business. And I was so grateful. Do you remember that at all?
I think I'm living proof that there's no place for cleverness.
I was so grateful for his advice, and I have continued to be grateful to Robert from that moment all the way up to the night he got 9 members of my staff arrested on Capitol Hill. Then I thought, maybe that's enough gratitude. Maybe we pump the brakes on the thank yous. Of course, no one achieves success in this business by themselves. Late night hosts especially. We hosts are merely the tip of the iceberg, though the tip is the most sensitive part. I think after telling that joke 10 times, I get to keep the sub. The point is, we don't do this alone. We just receive the awards alone. Thank you very much. As you can see, my writers are here. I have 20 writers. 19 of them are very talented. It's a big writing staff, but they're divided into 4 groups. We have the writer-producers. We have the writers for guest bits and field pieces. We have the monologue and desk piece writers, and the writers of the cold opens for the show, who have 2 things they must never forget, and those are written on signs that are taped on the inside of their office door. 1, you never want to open the show with diarrhea, and 2, Gary Busey is available. None of them are nominated tonight, but they're here because there's nothing comedy writers love more than a 3:30 p.m. buffet dinner. They just can't resist wet beef before sundown. Truth be told, I think it's my fault they aren't nominated because they're always funny, but sometimes I lack the courage to say the jokes that they write simply because I think those jokes would not be enjoyed by human beings. That's on me. So as a form of an apology to them, I would like to read you some of the jokes that, had I not cut them, would no doubt have garnered these writers the awards they so richly deserve. Here are some jokes that we did not include in our broadcast on the CBS Corporation. First one's not that bad. It was after the death of Jimmy Carter as part of a retrospective of Carter's career. President Carter leaned into his farming roots on the campaign trail where his plane was called Peanut One, not to be confused with Mr. Peanut's plane, which was called the Lolita Express. I'm not sure why that didn't make it. Maybe it was ad sales. I don't know. Here's a couple of recent ones. The actual go message from President Trump to launch last week's Iran attack was, Operation Epic Fury is approved. No aborts. Good luck. Coincidentally, no aborts, good luck, also the majority opinion in the Dobbs decision. Thank you. The Dobbs decision. The Dobbs. At the height of Me Too, when it was reported that Louis C.K. took off all his clothes to masturbate in front of 2 women, one of my female writers offered me this joke. Oh my God, he masturbates like a toddler poops. Thank you. Come on. I don't think that made it out of the morning pitch meeting, but thank you. Even though Trump famously and disturbingly said of Ivanka, if she wasn't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her, I refused to tell the following joke when Trump brought her to the 2017 G20 summit. I guess it was take your daughter to climax day. That is why I didn't tell it. That is why I didn't tell that joke. Jokes I didn't tell. This next one was after Pope and Melania met Pope Francis. You have to picture what Melania was wearing. I didn't realize we'd have screens to put pictures up, but please picture this. Melania, when she's in the Papal Palace, she wore a long-sleeved, long black dress with a black veil. Well, you know what they say, dress for the job you want. Didn't do that one. Didn't want to get a call. When Kristi Noem was testifying before Congress this past week, she was repeatedly asked about the long-standing rumors that she was having sex with her aide, Corey Lewandowski. That must have been awkward for Kristi Noem, given that her husband was in the galley right behind her, though I'm guessing that's not the first time she's made him sit in a chair and watch. That one came really close. That one came super close. Finally, this past fall, there was a story about OpenAI now allowing its users to make adult content. In the article, there was an analyst who had this take on it. Some have pointed out that the move could boost OpenAI as it seeks to sign up consumers for paid subscriptions. This was the joke I was given. Oh, that is so desperate. is like when McDonald's changed their slogan to, "We suck dick now." I want you to know that ad sales didn't say anything about that joke. But I cut that at the 9 a.m. pitch meeting, and it still showed up in the 3 p.m. rehearsal script. Took me by surprise, where I cut it again. Then it showed up finally at Christmas as this gift from my writers. There are many, many more jokes that I have not done, including a very long commercial parody for an after-Thanksgiving sexual lubricant called erotic body gravy that, due to some poor casting choices, turned out to be merely erotic. If you liked any of these ideas, please employ these lovely folks after May 21st. They have so much to offer. I'd like to tell you a little bit about each one of them. Matt Lappin owns and wears a shirt that says, "Writing poop jokes is my duty." Eliana Quartler has a score of 4.6 on WikiFeet. Ariel Dumas knows a surprising amount about apples. Jay Katzier went to Princeton with Pete Hegseth and remembers him fondly. Tom Purcell, if you want, can relate any news story to the book Thinking Fast and Slow. Also, if you don't want. Barry Julian is a half-Canadian jazz magician. Asher Perlman can't play basketball or move suddenly. Pratha Mamani is a fierce advocate for humidifiers. John Thibodeau is from New Orleans but doesn't get all French about it. Del Monte Bent is much taller than his name applies. Michael Cruz Kane can sing like a bird. Michael Brum can sing like a flightless bird. Gabe Gronley looks young. Aaron Cohen can grow a 5 o'clock shadow by 1:15. Paul Dinello recently learned to read. Aaron Nemo writes a lot of song parodies, but the medication is helping. Brian Stack used to work for Conan, so we might be able to get you an introduction. Steve Waltine occasionally has amazing hair, not tonight. Caroline Lazar kind of looks like Cher. Opus Moreski is actually named for the penguin Opus in the Bloom County comic strip, making him a walking copyright violation. And Carly Mosley needs to sit on a rather special pillow because she broke her butt playing ice hockey. They are the best writing staff I have ever known at any show, and I have loved our time together, which wasn't as much time as I would like. I started in late night as one of them, and thanks to Robert and Dana Carvey and Jon Stewart and many other people, I ended up in front of the camera every night, which is a very good job with its own responsibilities, meaning you can't be in the writer's room as much as you used to be. And to some, hosting may seem like a hard job, and sometimes it is, but what's also hard is hearing the laughter from the room down the hall and not being able to go in. If you've ever been lucky enough to be in that room, you will always want to be in that sound. And what's really going to be hard is missing these people who, despite the fresh hell, whatever it is that the news washes in, make that beautiful sound happen every day. So to them, and to all of you, and to Walter Bernstein, and to our guild, thank you so much.